All right, how's everybody doing tonight? Thank you so much for joining me. Who do we have in the chat room tonight? Vibhav, Matthew, what's up, Brian, Cyber, Vic, Claiborne Taylor, Iceberg, what's up, Quincy Lane? How's everybody doing tonight? Thank you guys for joining me. My name is Big Chonis. You guys can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Big Chonis. These are all my best ideas. I take technical analysis very seriously. I'm an investor, a mentor, chart psychologist. Please do your own research. All right, guys, let's get right into it. Listen, today's price action has just ended. Might as well start with our daily candle because we just put it in here. And we have lots of daily candles to actually look at today because, wow, what a day in the price of Bitcoin here. Yesterday, we had this bearish shooting star candle. And boy, do we follow up with something crazy. Now, this move did not feel very organic, did it? And we're kind of definitely take a look at that and try and figure out what happened here and why this action actually played out here. So I'm going to use Bitstamp. We're going to talk about why I'm using Bitstamp, but basically everything that's paired in USD and not USDT, I'm talking about everything that's paired in dollars and not in Tether, is the actual accurate price of Bitcoin. And the reason that's the case is because even though we had seen prices several hundred, almost $1,000 more than on Bitfinex and on Binance and other exchanges, it was not because there was a better value there in the price of Bitcoin. It was or a higher price in the price of Bitcoin. It was because the ratio to Tether was down as much as 15 cents on the dollar there, and it was huge. And that created a situation here where you were actually able to create that kind of arbitrage, but it was not real. You were not able to transfer your money, buy a Bitcoin for $6,200 on this exchange and then send it to another exchange and cash it out, for $500-600 more. That's not how it worked because those exchanges basically canceled that process to basically be able to convert to fiat for the time being once Tether kind of got a hold of itself. So let's just analyze the candle as a whole here. Daily candle, okay, very long upper wick. Even though this is a very bullish green volume bar, a lot of this money was actually taken off the table here. And you notice how we close. What do we find our resistance on? We found our resistance currently EMA 26, and we still put it a lower low compared to right before we actually broke bearish here several days ago. So yes, this move was quite significant, but we're back to $6,400, where it would seem like we were a little more than that for several weeks ending into September and beginning into October here. The volume profile is significant. Now I'm kind of bringing my Bollinger Bands here and look at our daily Bollinger Bands. The price, even though huge, stayed within our Bollinger Bands. It did wick out on the MA100, which is this blue line right here. And what did it close below? It closed below our middle Bollinger, it closed below our EMA 26. Did find support above our EMA 12, which is our leading EMA that I like to use in the meantime. TD count, we are on a green 2 and could do a decent green count for some time here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we got plenty of running room here to keep several days of green TD counts going. For now, we basically ended at a red 5 here and did our switch over there. Note, pull off that, add this. Our distance still below our cloud. That still shows resistance still a hair under 7K, and it actually gets a lot lower as we get closer into the month of November here. So the tightness in our Bollingers, when we were talking about how a bigger move was coming, I still don't think this is it. I honestly feel like this is more of a correction from this break here, combined with what happened in Tether today. And that's what we really want to talk about, is what the heck happened in Tether today. Before we do that, though, I want to look at a couple more indicators here. Looking at our RSI daily, we shot up, but we still not above 50. You guys know how I like to talk about being above 50 as an area where we can actually get pretty bullish. And like look be back here and start talking about areas we can really break out and find that bullish momentum. Continuingly still, we're putting in this lower low that we basically have been starting. Well, if you want to go up here, basically since September 3rd, but really all of September into October, we're putting in this resistance line, which is clearly holding. Make that's a better line there. And this is significant because this is a line we really got to break through on the daily RSI to actually bust down. Remember, RSI relative strength index. This will show us we actually have that momentum to actually get us to that next area where we can actually build on this bullish move here. Now our stochastic has shot up here. Note we didn't bottom all the way on both of our indicators. We didn't get back to zero. We kind of did a turnaround before we even got back down there. Still, though, we are putting in lower lows even with this move, and this definitely allowed our leading indicator to really rocket ship quite ahead here, and we're going to see what kind of fall through we have, because this can fall down very quickly here. There's still nothing in a trend change perspective of our Stoke. Even our MACD was very bearish. Okay, recovered some for sure. Still very wide here, still not crossing or anything. And we are building slowly back our histogram. Remember, we had been, I had this on my other chart, but we had been 20 bars of bullishness here. And we're just starting our bearish bar count here, currently on day 5. So we see that when we do have these, we actually go for quite a while, these several weeks, in a pattern direction. And we're just starting this current pattern right now until that changes, until we actually can find that differential. Obviously, with that spike in the price, we did see a rise in our OBV. That's notable. I'm going to continue to monitor this and see if we can change this trend. So far, we actually kind of are, but this is still very short-term pricing here. I want to get back over where we were in mid-September and early September on our OBV to actually show a change of direction, because what we're still doing is putting in lower lows. You know, temporarily we're putting in a slightly bottoming ish, but we've done that a couple times here, and here looked good, like we were finding a good support area, only to put in a lower low. So until this trend changes, in the OBV, the bears really still have that power. Now we see when I had our move earlier in the day there, our CMF just kind of fell off a cliff there, and then we came up with a little price action here, but still nothing crazy. You know, this wasn't a big move. This wasn't this looked a little bit like that short squeeze we had in April, which was actually a short squeeze in terms of how much shorts had to liquidate on the Bitcoin, but this doesn't feel like the same way, you know. And our histogram is still bearish. We're still basically angle bearish, although we have stopped our bleeding here on our squeeze momentum. So let's talk about what the heck happened today. So I want to go to, let's see here, where are we? USDT. Oh, is this one of those things where it just erases? Gosh darn it. So USDT. So there we go. Okay. So this is what happened today, and this is why we had such crazy divergence in the Bitfinex charts and what have you. This is our daily chart. Nothing to see here. Let me get rid of my Bollingers here, and let me auto this guy out. I'm trying to kind of keep it above the volume bar so you can actually understand this wick here. And this wick was phenomenal in terms of what happened, which basically normally Tether's supposed to be at around $1. Okay, not around $1. It's actually supposed to be at $1, and most of the time, as you can see, it is. Every once in a while, it has a little hiccup, kind of goes out of whack a little bit, but you know, very quickly, very quickly. This one was epic, and this was basically a lot of people were liquidating their Tether to convert it to Bitcoin to then convert it to fiat. So you basically take your Tether and you buy Bitcoin with it, and then you transfer that Bitcoin the heck out of the exchange you bought it in, mainly Bitfinex or Binance, to an exchange where you can actually convert it to USD, something like a Coinbase. And then that basically allows you to get out of your Tether and convert it to Bitcoin, and then convert that to cash. And that's what this move happened. There was so much downward pressure in the price of Tether that it actually brought it down to 85 cents to the dollar. And because of that 15% almost disparity in the price of Tether, you had that much more of a premium Binance and on Phoenix, which shot the price up to $7,700 there, and kind of, I'm not going to say screwed the chart up, but definitely showed a divergence in the chart that otherwise is really not so real. Now, the reason I was like, wow, this is so unique to what's going on with Bitcoin and not an across the board bullish move here is because we barely saw stuff like Ethereum. We barely saw Litecoin. We barely saw other alts that are not pegged to Tether. They barely moved. They had a little pop, a few bucks here and there, a few percentage points here and there, but um, nothing like what we had seen when we actually really break bullish in previous times past and see something like the rising tide that lifts all the boats there. We just haven't seen that in this move here, and that's why this move still remains very, very suspect, very, very suspect. In, was this just a moment for people to just get out of Tether? Take a lot of money off the table. Was this one of those panic sells that induced a lot of FUD? Remember, Tether, this came back. I mean, this was at 85 cents. It shot up back to $1. Gave a lot of that back, and it's still kind of struggling. We're still at 95 cents. Remember, we want this to be at a 1-to-1, and it's just not doing that. Remember, this is important for crypto in the fact that as other stable coins come online, you're seeing that across other exchanges here. It's actually beginning to kind of take a lot of the value, the how do I say this, the dominance, you will, if you will, of Tether being that unique one and only stable coin. Now that this is happening, people are kind of find solace and security in other assets to protect themselves. I do want to bring up Bitcoin continuous futures here. I've been a lot of analysis trying to figure out um, what gaps in the chart are really, which gaps in the chart are really meaningful, because I've been watching the 4 hour and the 3 hour and even the 1 hour, and you can go even lower and find gaps way back in the past here. There's gaps up in 16,000, there's gaps at 13,000, and then in the 1 hour chart, there's gaps at 9,000 in the 1 hour chart, and most recently there was actually going here to my 1 hour chart. Most recently, there was actually a gap right here on September 28th in the 1 hour chart. This was our last gap here. Let me nail it. At around 67.15, and today's wick actually filled that gap. So, because of that, in the hourly chart, I don't see any new gaps except the one like right here that just happened, but again, we're just so close to it here. And that's really, I don't really like to use the 1 hour because gaps happen a lot quicker on the 1 hour and get filled a lot quicker. But definitely keep reference that this gap was there and open for quite a while, and it got filled. And I guess if I have to assume this got filled, and the other ones way back here will get filled at some point, but not necessarily in the near future. There's a very good possibility that the gaps at 11, 12, $13,000 will get filled, but it could take quite a while. There is this gap here though at where is it? Right there. That I'm just kind of keeping in the back of my head here because it's not that far away in terms of a time rise from when it actually happened. There it is right there in the hourly chart, right around $9,500. And again, this gap can stay open for a very long time. This gap can stay open for a year, while Bitcoin gets lower and lower and lower. But at some point, I don't have a doubt that this gap will get filled, as well as potentially many of the other ones much higher. But for right now, all the gaps pretty much, well, all the gaps on the hourly chart at least, I see is filled. except for this one that kind of just happened here. But we're right here in the price action here. There isn't a big divergence between where we are currently and where that gap is. I assume that'll be filled momentarily as so because we're so close to it. Let's look at longs and shorts because this move, okay, really affected our longs and shorts. Now, I put a tweet out a couple days ago about how Ethereum shorts were just off the chain. Let me go to my 6 hour here. And they had reached an all time high level once again and actually broke above this line here of a breakout of this ascending triangle with a 1-to-1 ratio bringing them basically getting rejected right here. And they got a little too cocky. They got a little too cocky and they got slapped down. And boy, they got slapped down. A lot of people, remember, this is on Bitfinex. So this had a lot to do with more volatility with the move in Bitcoin because these shorts and longs are on the Bitfinex exchange. So Litecoin shorts really sold off. Ethereum shorts really sold off. Ethereum longs didn't really, they rose, but they didn't really blast off there. And we're still finding that rejection there on the 6 hour MA200. But what's really interesting today is watching Bitcoin longs. This is a 6 hour shot. And look at this. Like, we had this massive candle in Bitcoin today. Are you kidding me? This massive move in the price of Bitcoin. And Bitcoin long contracts are just disintegrating, like literally disintegrating, and retesting, getting close to retest our lower channel support here. Look at this. We got around here, we got down here, we got down here. We can go a little lower here. I mean, this is very interesting. Our longs are falling down, even though we had that big bullish move in the price of Bitcoin because our shorts. Check what happened out here today. So, boy, they broke through the flag. They got squeezed the F up. But nice little lower wick here. You know, some of that, people started to short this pretty significantly when Bitcoin was topping off earlier in this 6 hour candle, kind of towards the top, and have been riding and adding to those shorts ever since. So the bears, even with this move, you have to argue the bears definitely still have control. It's because of how the follow-up of this candle have actually been playing out. And that's significant. Now, we didn't see any alts majorly diverge. Lumen definitely had an interesting day here. Where am I going here? Let me look at my 4 hour. Lumen had a nice bullish. Oh, I'm on Bitfinex. See, here's the problem. A lot of my charts are on Finex, and they're all out of whack. At least the USDT is just out of whack here. So until the whole tether issue is kind of solved, I kind of have to use either Stamp or Coinbase. Or even Bittrex to basically talk about our charts here. But I do want to go. Let's do this. Let's go to my XBT. So let's go to Max, and let me go to my daily chart here. And listen, let's just talk about this candle here and what it signified in terms of our overall resistance line here. Let me get rid of this here. Get rid of that there. So what happened with this candle in terms of where we have been finding resistance on these wicks? Now look at that. We broke through this resistance line started in July when we hit 8,500. We retested it in early September at 7,400. We got rejected once again here. Come down just a little bit. Right there. Actually, I should go log, right? There we go. That's better. On log scale here. Rejection. Remember, we rejected it earlier a couple days ago. Okay. Now we busted through it, but we didn't close above it. Right? We wicked through it. Right? There's our wick. But we never closed above it. So this line of resistance is still very much intact. With a wick more than twice the size of the candle body it actually ended up with. So this is still bearish, until proven otherwise. Now, what's the proof otherwise? What actually becomes this a proven otherwise um, situation here? Yeah, it is Tuesday, isn't it? Perfect. Is because what would happen when we actually get up to a bull break? And what is a bull break? What does a bull break mean? Now we can get through this line here, okay? We can get above our MA55, which is at 65.60. We can get above our MA100 at 67.40. We can get higher to even retest our MA200 on our daily chart, which we haven't even touched for months. Since March. But until we put in a higher high, at least breaking $7,400, at least breaking $8,500, this trend line and this bearish trend, is going to be intact. A lot of algorithms today um, executed programs because of what happened on Bitfinex and the pump. The pump, people bought Bitcoin to get out of Tether. They bought Bitcoin to get out of Tether. They sold Bitcoin to get cash. And that was what this wick was about. This is where we're buying Bitcoin, we're selling Bitcoin. And that's what's going on here still until proven otherwise. But now our equilibrium is getting tighter, right? What am I on here? I'm on MEX. So here's our lower low. Here's our higher low, still holding, right? But what's happening is even with this wick, we're still in our apex here. We're still in our triangle. We're still in our triangle getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And yes, this tightness of our triangle could even take us into November until this breaks. And by breaking, we have to do one of two things. We have to close above these areas where we're rejecting, or we have to close below these areas where we've actually been finding support. Now, we can close below 60.22, and we can close below 58.85. But if we close below 57.58-ish, then we actually start putting in a new low for 2018, because our February low was 58.71 or so. And that'd be bad. So, in terms, it'd be very, 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 very bearish, because that just puts a whole swath of lower areas in play. And we definitely have a lot we can talk about if that occurrence happens, because we should know as we get closer to the end of this month here what's going to happen here and really how this move plays out. If we just fall through this move here, give all this candle back here, I mean, again, it's about faith and conviction. This move we just had in Tether, it could happen again. It really could happen again, because there's still a lot of tethered people are holding. If it can stabilize, you might see something like it again. But, how many times can it keep doing this before the profit taking becomes more intense when we actually have these moves here? What did this move do to our coin market cap? Now, this is interesting. We were sub 200 billion yesterday. We must have been, God, this must have pushed to 220, 225 earlier in the day. Now we're at 210. So we added about $10 billion, which was notable. Now, Bitcoin's volume, this is going to be nuts. Yeah, look at that. Wow, $7 billion out of nowhere. Look at this. We were in the threes. We hit a five a couple days ago. This was our bear break, right? Back in the threes, back in the threes, back in the threes. 7 billion. We have not had a 7 billion. I mean, it's got to go back to July probably, right? When we had a 7 billion. This is something. This is definitely crazy volume that came in, and the follow up is going to be interesting because market cap, it rose. We were at 108, now we're at 114. But here's what's struggling is that to go $6 billion in market cap with $7 billion, by twice the volume. I would have wanted to see, because remember, our market cap is kind of back to where we were back on October 11th. Like this move really, though epic, while it happened, um, it still kind of put us right where we've been for quite some time. Let's take a look here in the chat room, see what's going on. What's up? I haven't said hello to yet. Tone Loke, what's up? Funky Bad Chad, what's up? G Furry 2010. Hello, Jonathan. How's it going, my friend? What's up, Airwery? What's up, Cyber Crypto Fever? Andre Soj Code. Hey, Paul, what's going on, my friend? ITCC, hello. Adrian Foley, Quincy Lane. B7 Oaks, G Runner 87, Bill Hugal, Day Trader Elliott Wade, what's up, man? Oli Wooster, Ricardo Tarnowski, JC Donald Duck, yo yo yo. So yeah, listen, um, new exchanges, current exchanges, are going to keep adding new coins, right? Coinbase added ZRX this week. So far, the top out was literally the day it was added. Very similar to what happened with Ethereum Classic, right? Look at that volume that came in this one here, right? 70 to 80. Yeah, it's on Phoenix. God, I gotta remember that, because look at the disparity on Phoenix ZRX USD. And do they have? They don't even have. They don't even have. I guess I can use Poloniex. Trading View USD. Maybe, I don't know. This is still a situation here where the sell off was on the instrumentation and the addition to the exchange. Now Litecoin, going on Gemini. Tomorrow, yeah, I mean, it might get a little pump because it'll be in the news, But I mean, Gemini's got what, like 6, 7 coins? No, like 4 or 5 coins. So my question is probably what the heck took them so long to get a Litecoin. Now, listen, we're still kind of. It's funny. I was playing around with this Head and Shoulders a couple days ago, and this was actually before we broke bearish. I think it was when we broke bearish here. And this kind of tripling bottom here is still a possibility. We have a lower headline here. Our right shoulder and our left shoulder are literally to the dollar, pretty much in sync. And be curious to see if we can re-achieve this neckline of Litecoin's price, which would put it somewhere around $60 once again. That would be interesting. A triple bottom and a triple top rejection, both in this tight range of $50 to $60. Now, as you know personally, I'm very bearish on Litecoin. And I feel it has a long way to still fall, just based on this move in Litecoin of 2017 April to basically August here. That just rocket shipped $4 to, it was a 10 bagger in like 3 months. And it never corrected from that. It really never had that correction from that. So I mean, again, Bitcoin breaks bearish, breaks into the 5Ks again, and then everything is on the table with Litecoin and where it could actually fall here. But in the meantime, we are putting in we're all putting in these supports here. But we've done this before. We did this over here, 1, 2, 3, very similar pattern, similar inverse head and shoulder that could play out. Little bull pop, little fake out again, and then fell off cliff there. Similarly here, we've had this fulcrum bottom here back in April. Here was our pop. We went from 114 to 180. Those were the days, right? Those were the good old days. Now we're way back here. So looking for continuation as well. So, with Ethereum back a little over $200, I mean, we're just still trying to hold this $200 area. Still nothing has changed that we can keep putting in these lower lows if these areas don't break. And we have a long way to go to break out of these areas. If we want to keep pushing this momentum forward here, at the start of the day, we're not really seeing a whole lot of follow through. I mean, if this move was to get the market really excited again, it's kind of losing its luster. It's kind of losing its luster. Remember, Bitcoin is not 67.22; it is closer to 64.22. So we're still about $300 off um, from our arbitrage, and that still has a lot to do with Tether being, where is it here? You at 95 cents on the dollar. So we're still 5% off there, and that's basically causing that discrepancy, which is roughly 5% of Bitcoin's price action is roughly around $300. And that's why we're actually finding that differential. Brian Donnelly asks, "What do you think Fidelity getting the crypto?" Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a very positive news. You're clearly seeing the big houses are setting up situation to get involved in crypto. Um, from a longer term perspective, this is wonderful. This is absolutely wonderful. It's not going to be meaningful until they actually show how they're going to integrate a crypto desk to their members, subscribers. What do you want to call them? People that investors, yes, investors of crypto, investors. But this allows ease of access to move. I'm going to move some mutual fund or some ETFs over to some Bitcoin, or something like that. So that availability, ease of availability to get institutional money into crypto is actually very significant and a good first step for Fidelity. And remember, a lot of these moves are back ended into the later part of the year, November, December. But we're getting closer, early. I mean, the back end of the year, the 1 year anniversary, right, of Bitcoin's parabolic move happens. What was it? December 15th or so, mid December. That was it. And we're only about 2 months away on the dot. Actually, we are exactly 60 days, 50, 61 days away from our anniversary of where we topped off last year, and that will basically have us going for a year in our correction. So, what are the next 2 months going to bring us in the price of Bitcoin? A break of our lows can set a lot in play. Okay, and we're getting close once again, but we still can hold on for a couple more weeks here based on our triangle wedge. Okay, even though we actually wicked through it today, a close above has not been achieved. That's why we always like to wait for confirmation. Now, these candle bars here are notable. We were losing momentum, bear break, bullish move, question mark. Um, but our follow-up candles are what's kind of basically keep it showing. These are moves outside of um, kind of outliers, if you will, I guess, in terms of volume, where most of our volume is still getting lower and lower and lower. Our daily volume getting lower and lower and lower. Okay. Any questions? Anything else I can think of? I want to touch on here. We did a little Litecoin. We did Ethereum. Um, you know, Everything's still trading more or less in sequence. If we break back into the $6,300 area in Bitcoin, I mean, if we get back in the 6,300s, like, come on, like we were basically, remember, we broke bearish. We got as low on, at least on Coinbase, we got as low as to 60.37. Okay, for several days we were clawing our way up, 6,200, 6,200. We, we're just where do we start there? So we're just 4%. I mean, $266. Um, above where we moved. This move was a 10% move that gave back 60% of it so far. Almost a little more than that right there. So again, in this market, we look for price conviction. Okay, these inverse Barts we keep seeing. We don't really keep seeing them. We've seen them before. Um, how long can the market keep doing this crap? And a lot of this has to do with, this is a low volume retail environment. This is mostly computers and algorithms basically moving the price of Bitcoin, and not the individual person that we had actually seen early in the year, which was just putting so much money flow into the price of Bitcoin. And that was the driving force. This retail investor is just gone right now Maybe they're scooping up some cheap alts because, why not? Relatively speaking, from a Satoshi standpoint, alts can be cheap more or less. Um, but is it cheap that they can also drop, another 50% if Bitcoin drops another 50% or even more than that? And there's so many altcoins out there now. Remember, there's Bitcoin and there's 2,084 other altcoins. That's a lot, and a lot of these projects have sucked a lot of money into the price, away from the price of Bitcoin, and other projects that were kind of well on their way. Um, and what do we got here? Market cap: Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, EOS, Stellar, Litecoin. How long is Tether going to be in the top 10? Cardano and Monero rounds out the top 10. Tron, IOTA, Dash, Binance Coin, Neo, Ethereum Classic, NEM, Tezos, VeChain, and Dog eCoin round out the top 20. These are the coins we're going to keep watching because these have the highest market caps continuously. We still have 16 coins over $1 billion of market cap. Is that valuation real? I mean, is that really the value? Are these coins still way overpriced? Are these coins still way overpriced? Hundreds of millions of dollars? Are these projects really worth hundreds of millions of dollars? Is Bitcoin Diamond really worth $269 million? Um, there's so much out there still, and as we get lower and lower, we see coins that are still worth tens of millions of dollars. And who's to say that these aren't going to just get liquidated and liquidated? We keep seeing, our top 100 here at Kyber Network, $55 million. But remember, when these markets dry up, you actually start to see exchanges delist them. And that's the death knell to a lot of these coins, especially if they're delisted from a larger exchange like a Binance or something. So that's very important to keep an eye on. All right, so real quick check here. Kind of go zoom on back in. Go 5 minute here. Check out what's happening. We kind of closed the day. We were on a very nice up note here. Remember over here we had this. Oh, we're breaking bearish. Nope, loop. Swing back. Coming on back here. Topped out again at 46.40. Sorry, 64.60. That's the dyslexia in me. And we actually see that area here in the 5 minute here, but what is it about this area that we're finding resistance on? Because look at that, we actually wicked out there a couple times early in the day when we're actually trying to find that continuation. And then overall, let me go to my 30 minute here, right there. So back here, when we were breaking bearish on October 10th, we found support here right around 64.46. Now that area is where we wicked out here. So we're finding that area of support here, which broke bearish, broke through it, back testing it, and it's still hitting as resistance on very low volume here. Now look how much we fanned out here on our EMAs. We can still go sideways for quite a while as we begin to bring these closer together, retouch them. Remember, we were off the chart, right? Intermittently. 30 minute chart, RSI was at 93. Stoke topped off just a boomerang of a price action here. What did our hourly top off? It must have been closer as well. Yeah, 89, the hourly, quick up, quick down. Kind of losing momentum, but holding here. And we just need the next round of money flow to come in here. A break of 6,800 would be very significant. A breakdown of 62.80 on the bearish side to me would be very significant. This, all right, look at it. You go up here, okay, you shake out the shorts. You go down here, you shake out the longs. You clear the board. And then boom, this was orchestrated. This whole move here was so orchestrated. Clear out the shorts, clear out the longs, shoot it up, wick it out, dump it, get out of here with your money. Just incredible. Just incredible. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. I think that's a good way to stop. Thank you guys for joining me in the chat room tonight. I'm going to Vegas tomorrow. I am flying out tomorrow. I have a very long day tomorrow. And I get in very, very late. But I'll be in Las Vegas all the rest of the week. And so I will be doing some shows from my hotel room, I'm sure, and keeping you guys apprised of what's going on in the price of Bitcoin and perhaps a few fun things from my trip. I need a little vacation. I need to get out of town for a little bit. Looking forward to that. I'm heading out there with some friends of mine. We're all kind of celebrating our birthdays or so, and I used to live out there actually. I used to live out in Las Vegas for quite a while, so it'll be interesting to get back there and see how much it's changed. I haven't been there for several years. But we'll be able to see what's going on, and I hope to enjoy some rest, and relaxation, and a little fun out there. So again, stay safe here. This is just a crazy market we're in right now. Doing your charting, keep it to the USD charts. They're kind of being more accurate in terms of showing the actual value of Bitcoin. Remember, the actual value of Bitcoin is the price you can actually liquidate it for and convert it to cash. Okay, so right now that's still around $6,400 and not $300 more because of the reference and discrepancy of Tether, which is still off by about 5%. So until then, we'll talk to you guys soon. This is Big Chonis signing out. Peace out.